Welcome to A Woman's Brew, where women talk about beer. For the first time yet in A Woman's Brew history, a guest returns and another we've featured makes a pod debut. I'm Joanne and this is Tori.
Hello.
And we're two beer-loving women on a mission to get more people drinking and talking about great beer. Come join us. We are super lucky today. We have our returning guest, the lovely Emma from Merakai, and first time we have Helena from Eko. Hello, ladies. How are you?
Hi. Welcome back, and welcome
yes,
for the first time.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Before we even start, I'm gonna reveal what we've got. Look at this beautiful
like a jug of 12% stout.
Look at this beautiful 12% one day stout. This is the main reason that we are here. But ladies, if you would like, for those that are listening, I've got a litre bottle of 12% stout in my hand. I'm not seeing on the video the beauty that is in my hand. If you'd like to introduce yourselves, Emma, if you'd like to go first, remind our listeners who you are and why you're here.
Tell us as well, like, what actually have you been up to?
Yeah, because you've done new stuff.
Give us an update.
Oh God, what can I say? Emma from Merakai. I am a co-owner, co-founder, so I'm everything basically but the brewing. What I've been up to, God, we've kind of launched quite a few beers. I mean, the last time we actually spoke to you on a podcast was basically like a year ago, pretty much.
Yeah.
So a lot's happened since then. I think we've released like 13 beers since we last kind of spoke.
Amazing.
It's been like a massive learning curve. And we also like got the brewery. So we kind of did some calculations, and we've been in the brewery for about 8 months now. It's like it's kind of grown, and it's gone really rapid, and it's just like I could do with a bit of a holiday, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's kind of really exciting, and a lot of awesome stuff has happened, and long may it continue.
I think we asked you where you wanted to be in a year from now. When we interviewed the first time, and it was your own setup. And I'm so excited that it's happened. Now all we need is drag brunch. That's the next step in the succession.
We can make that happen. I mean, yeah.
Amazing. Easy. And then we have the lovely Helena from Eko. If you'd like to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're here for today.
Yes, so I am Helena, and I'm co-owner, co-founder of Eko Brewery. So about us, probably most people see us around African-inspired brewery, just trying to put our heritage really into our love of craft beer. So that's how we started, and Emma and I basically met on social, really. Virtually, we still haven't actually met physically because I wasn't able to get out on the brew day. I know, it was just story of my life, honestly. That's basically what it is. And but basically, a little bit like Emma, I just do everything else but the brewery. But the brewing. It's just him and I as well. We are obviously looking to have our own setup as well. So we're just working towards that. But at the moment, we are contract brewing. And so we've met some amazing people along the way. We have about 7 beers now. And this is our 3rd collab. So really excited to just be here and speak to you lovely ladies.
I need to say it's the best and most important collaboration you've ever done.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Come on.
I think anyone that's listened to one of our previous episodes, I don't remember which episode number it was off the top of my head, but we did have your Eko Black on the episode. So we wanted to get you on since then. So it's really exciting to finally get you on to talk as well. So that's exciting.
I know.
It's been so crazy. Everything's been kicking off this year, and hopefully there's luck in this, where in a year's time for you as well, you'll be like, oh sorry, we just opened up our
come join us at the tap room,
and I'll make sure I'll have my hair down, and then I'll just be like
so we can all be like, hair flick,
we got it done, hair flick, it's done. We would love that, absolutely love that. But you know what, good things come to those who wait. So
exactly, everything happens for a reason and all that.
Exactly. So but we are on the path to that, I hope. fingers crossed, and toes as well. But yeah, oh god, I can't wait.
I'm really excited for this next part, which is we're not even going to delay and
not even
the
delay it,
opening of
no,
it.
because-
It's a
because
mega jug. We need to.
Yeah, we've got to crack this over. And Helena let us in that she's not actually tried this yet. So
No.
It's more extra special.
yeah, it's
Yeah, Oliver just kind of he poured them all out direct from the FV, and he did them really quickly, and then sent them off because I did the labels. And then Helena was like, "Oh, I can't wait to try this." And I went, "Oh, I think Oliver's only put in one bottle." No.
Wait,
I messaged her. I was just like, "Oh, there's just one," but it's just no. I'll wait.
we were chatting before you came on as well, Evan, and I was saying how like we make iced coffee in my house as well. So I had to say specifically to my husband so he didn't think that I somehow put iced coffee in like a recycled juice bottle or something like that. I was like, please don't open that, because once you open that, it is done, and I need that for Monday. And it's a 12% impy, and I can't just drink this on the spot. So
No.
oh right.
Let's
Well,
open
without
this up,
further
okay.
Yeah, I
Oh,
must
dear.
okay, so this is kind of the result of today's efforts. I was explaining
got a bit
to
of can.
Helena, Oliver was canning, Oliver's mum was canning,
Mm.
Oliver's dad was canning, I was in the office selling. It was freezing.
Ooh.
They did such a good job. But yeah, like as you can see, like the
God.
can it's just gorgeous and just a
Oh,
black.
yeah. Lovely black can for
And
those
the
that are
label.
listening.
The label's delayed,
Oh,
so
no.
what you have on your bottles are testers.
Oh, tester labels. Oh, this is
Oh.
fancy.
Yeah,
This
look
just
at
smells
that.
amazing.
It smells gorgeous.
Oh.
So I must confess, I've tried this pretty much like all the way through.
Someone's got to
But-
taste it throughout. That's that's the best part of the job, right?
Yeah, well, Oliver would do like a gravity at like 8:30 in the morning and go, do you wanna try this? I mean, imperial stout, like 8:30 in the morning. Yeah, that's fine.
Sure.
That is.
Yeah.
I just took a sip. I just
wow.
cheated and took a sip. That is gorgeous.
Are we happy with
This
it?
it's like, it's not overpowering at all. So you get the really like amazing coffee scent, but actually when you taste it, it's almost not there. I think it's the vanilla. Vanilla's really
Yeah. And there's like
Yeah.
lovely chocolate in there.
I think that's a real accomplishment.
12%.
I was going to say, I think that's a real accomplishment, because I think vanilla can get so lost. It's really difficult to make it like identifiable, especially when you have it in something that's like so roasty and chocolatey like that. It just gets lost and that kind of stuff. But not in this. It's very clearly there.
Yeah.
About 3 liters. Yeah, he was just kind of going.
And no one can say this is too thin.
No. we had an earlier conversation with Helena before we started recording. This is not thin in the slightest.
Yeah,
It's got
with
really
the
lovely
body,
mouthfeel.
I think kind of like they've achieved something really nice here. Like Oliver was saying when he was just doing his last gravity the other day, maybe kind of like it could be possibly like a little bit thicker, but like overall in terms of like everything in it and the fact that it's kind of like really smooth, just
really,
see what magic Eko and Merakai have made together.
It is
I think it's lethal because it's
magic.
so nice.
Yeah,
that's it.
This is
You'll be like, oh, I
lethal.
can just drink this, and then
Yeah.
Also at 1 liter. Oh my goodness.
Right.
We've opened it now, Liz. We've got to drink it.
Yeah.
I've opened it now.
Oh my gosh. I have to keep a little bit randy, otherwise he would cry. Like,
I'm really sorry. I just
drank all of it.
sorry, I drank this so much. Oh my god, this is like I get like a hint of fruits as well, or is it just me?
Yeah.
No, I definitely got like in the taste. I did get like a little bit of that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be kind of like with the coffee we chose. It's like basically black black currant, morello, cherries, and also like that coffee had flavorings of milk chocolate as well. So yeah, it's like it's quite nice. And Oliver chucked in like some bittering hops. So like with our previous stout, he also used like the Columbus and the Columbuses in this as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to
Got my
kind of like give
minute.
it a bit of something. In fact,
Yeah.
if we could have afforded it, like we were talking about doing, getting some barrels, but we just
Oh.
don't
Yeah,
have any money yet.
oh my
I know,
God.
it would
Barrel
have been
aged would be
good.
amazing.
Who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe next year's collab. Sure.
There you go.
Excellent. Next one, barrel aging. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
for sure.
Definitely.
Oh,
Now that you
amazing.
say that about the fruits as well, and it totally makes sense as well, because obviously if you just go cheap coffee or whatever, it doesn't have it. But like when you go, well, if you're actually a coffee person and you really go in and you take in all the flavors of coffee, it can be just as intricate and complex and layered as
Yeah.
beer can.
Absolutely.
And yeah, like I do think you can get those if you just have a black coffee and it's really intense beans from a certain area. Like you can get like fruit with the roastiness,
Exactly.
with all that. And I do actually think that's been achieved with this. It does have that like dark roast coffee to it, and it's really lovely. The second you said the cherry, I was like, yeah, okay, that's definitely what I've picked up is the currant and the cherry.
Yeah, this will smooth out over time as well, and it will just kind of like continue to get smoother and smoother. So yeah,
there's no alcohol burn either.
No,
none
like
of that.
no.
Really good.
Chug it.
It's dangerous.
And
It is
kudos
dangerous, drinkable.
to Emma and Holly and Ollie for the coffee, sourcing the coffee, because we were looking and just getting the strong notes from the coffee is difficult, because we did really wanted the aromas and everything to come through. And like Anthony's a massive coffee drinker, so he will have it black. He's there savoring with his like coffee press, and so he was just like, we need to get it. And this is a great one, honestly. This is just love it.
Nice. When he came and did the brew day, I basically gave him, I think the in-laws, like they drink instant coffee, and they had like Waitrose own like dried instant coffee, and I felt kind of bad giving it to him. I was like, you don't have a French press.
No,
it's some coffee grain.
No. I mean, he's a snob for himself, but he would never be like,
he was really
sweet.
No.
Yeah, he would just, I mean, at home he'll be like, yeah, I'll do all this, but everyone else will be like, I'll just have what you have, don't worry, as long as it's black, I'll take it.
Oh, funny.
And I should have had some decent coffee. I felt kind of like, I was like, oh, this is rubbish.
No, it's not. Like literally, these guys have like brewed this beer. Okay, Anthony went, and then they canned it as well. We couldn't come in for the canning. So yeah, it's fine. That's the least of your worries, giving him instant coffee. He's like, thank you.
I'm so happy as well that we got to like capture your first few sips like on camera.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Also, when I like something, I drink really fast. So I need to pace myself.
Because you're gonna
let's be real, right? This much. I mean,
I'm not great. I'm not good at like tasting sessions, because everyone's like, oh, let's savor this. And I'm like, yeah, oh my God. And the one I
really
like is literally gone. And they're like, oh.
So I can relate, because I'll go places with my husband and we will get like flight boards. And when you can get flight boards, we'll do that, and we'll share them. And I'll go, okay, let's take a sip. And you take a sip now, and he'll drink really slow. And then he'll come back to it, and I'll be like, oh, did you want the rest of this? And he's like, I barely had any of it. And I was like, well, it's not my fault. Like, you've not been drinking
like this one. Exactly. It's be faster.
Where did you get the coffee from? While we're still on the subject of coffee.
Yeah, I was just going to ask that.
So the coffee was basically sourced from a company down here, which is called Small Batch. You might have heard of them or might not have heard of them, but they're kind of like local to Brighton and Lewis, and they have like loads of different outlets there. But yeah, they source coffee from basically all over the world. And this particular coffee, which is from Zambia, and it's the Bemba Project coffee, which Oliver, I love how I'm kind of like, we're speaking for Oliver and Anthony. But yeah, we kind of like looking at some coffee, and came across this particular one because of the kind of work that they're doing with women in Zambia, because kind of typically the process of coffee, I don't really know that much about like coffee and the processes of coffee, but apparently it's kind of quite male dominated. So this particular coffee range is supposed to kind of highlight the fact that women can do kind of this work as well as men, and it's encouraging, like, you know, women to take those male dominated roles to actually prove that in a male dominated kind of industry that women can do it. So yeah, it's like, it's really nice, obviously, you know, close to our hearts, because we are women, and the empowerment of women is basically like what we're both all about. So that was really nice, and the coffee itself is just very lovely and delicious. I'm going to make sure like I get some to send over your guys' way, so you can actually like have a big sexy bag of coffee, because it went in and I was looking at Oliver like putting all the beans in, like, can I have some? No,
Save some of that, please.
yeah. But
Yeah, I think I remember hearing about hearing like some statistics about that as well. When I'd got some coffee from Girls Who Grind. They are, you know, female owned and operated. They do coffee, and they do. That's where I got my T-shirt that says "Bad bitches drink good coffee" was from them, and I absolutely love that T-shirt. Yeah. Shout out to them for that. But yeah, I remember reading, I believe it was from them, about that statistic and how it is very male dominated. So there are those charities that are doing their best to help provide even just sort of like above a certain level percentage wise, like pay, so that they can afford to go out and do that job over some other things. It was really interesting. It was stuff that I had no idea about until I looked into, like you said, certain brews and stuff, like certain brews of coffee, and I was like, oh, okay, that's really, really interesting. So I think I've heard of Small Batch as well, because it sounds really familiar, so I have to check them out just for that alone.
Yeah, their logo is like the Brighton Dome. It's kind of like 3 Brighton domes.
Oh, I just want to say that, Helena, I love your logo for Eko as well.
Oh, yeah.
And we were talking about I absolutely love it. When we were talking about it, when we drank it the last time, I was like, the logo is just so, it's just so sleek, and like it's the same thing as, like, I love the gold on it as well. I wanted to get we've got to put in a proper order with you guys, but I've got to wait until I'm back in the new year, because I'm like sitting on hands.
I've got,
so, like, I
can't
buy any more bits.
Oh my goodness, you have the pails.
I've got pails. I've got the 3 pails. I'm stocked.
I've got pail number
ready.
3 in the fridge, but I was like, we're drinking a mega jug. I can't handle
pail. No,
let's
concentrate on this beauty for today.
I saw it on your glass, and I was like, I loved it, and I love the gold. It's the same reason why I like the Merakai one, because I feel like the design it gives you this very like luxurious feel with the gold and everything like that, and it's just visually nice to look at. So when we put in the full proper order with you, I'm definitely ordering a glass at minimum, because I was like, I wanted to get it the last time, and I was like no, when we ordered the last time, I was like, get it, and I was like, no, sit on hands for now, sit on hands,
definitely, because we don't have any more glasses.
I knew that was going to happen.
So
that's right. In the new year, after paydays and everything, Christmas shopping's done, it will be like jumper purchases, glassware purchases. Like, that's where my funding will go.
We are actually in the process of getting more glasses, and it's nice to be like, oh, we don't have any,
right?
It's a nice problem to have.
Definitely.
Nice problem to have. Sad for me, but nice for you guys, isn't it?
It's like, oh, and this is another thing. It's like, we're really small, but most people understand. Not even most, everybody understands. You know, when we're like, we're small, we're working as fast as we can to get you guys all these things, and it's fine, don't worry. And merch can always, doesn't expire, right? So it's all good. But
I thought I'd be amiss to not take this opportunity, because I saw when you were drinking, I saw the logo, and I was like, I just have to say that I love it. So, and I said it on the last podcast, I'll say it again, absolutely love the logo. So
thank you. But it's crazy, because we went really simple, and I was just like, I feel like our whole journey's been like kind of a gamble. It's like, okay, you're gonna go out there and you're gonna be super different, African inspired, and then you're gonna have a logo that's kind of understated. But I'm like, it doesn't need to say much else. It's like, this is what it is. So it's
What
gonna be the
prompted
map
you
of
to do
Africa.
that design? Like, I was going to say, like, is there
Yes.
like meaning behind it?
So basically, so our heritage, Anthony and I, both African heritage, different countries. He's got Nigeria and I'm from Congo. But and Eko actually was the original name for the city of what is now known as Lagos. And so, yeah, he was like, I guess if you look at the background of Eko Brewery, it was almost his brainchild, because he's been into craft beer for a while, and then he kind of brought me onto that journey. It's for both of us for a while now, because it's since like 2012, 2013. So I've also been in there, and I used to drink beer before, but not from a craft beer, scene. I wasn't really in the scene, didn't know much about it. Went to America, Philly. And then we just really got, like, we really enjoyed the community spirit of it, because, as you know, America still can be quite segregated, but actually in a lot of the craft beer gardens and pubs we went to there were mixed. Funny enough, it was weird. So it was really nice to just see that community spirit. And then came back here, went back to our regular jobs, and I don't know, I guess still wanted to start this thing, but we were like, how do we make it different? How do we put, ourselves into it? And then Anthony actually saw a satellite image of Africa at night that NASA had, and that's where the inspiration came from. It was just all these lights. Well, it was actually of the world, sorry. It was a map of the world that NASA created at night, and with all these bright lights. And he was like, why don't we do this for our logo if we were to ever have, a beer company? I was like, oh, that's awesome, let's do it. And then when just a few months down, you think about things, and then you're like, yeah. And then he was like, look, I really think we should do this, and what do you think about calling it, Eko Brewery? And he was telling me what Eko stands for. And I was like, I think it's brilliant. And so with our first beers, the bright light is actually located in West Africa, where Nigeria is. And then, as you notice, our goal is to basically move all around the map. And with the pale ale range, we're actually in South Africa. So yeah, so we're just trying to explore, what the continent has to offer. And it's really it's just on the nose, the fact that, we use a coffee, that brand that's trying to, help women in that sphere, because even with brewing, traditionally, actually, women in Africa brew. So at home, they're the ones who are the brewers. But if you go to an actual brewery, it's just male dominated, right? You would maybe if you find one, I think there are Kweza, obviously all female, and then you have like Baturi Brewery in Nigeria, have one female brewer. It's just, and then you have Tolokazi Beer, Apiwe, and so it's just, for me, it's insane that at home, brewing, like grandmothers were brewing and mothers were brewing, sisters, but then when it comes to actually working in the brewing sector, we're just not there. There's no representation for us at all, or hardly any representation for us. And the same with coffee. So the women probably go around gathering the grains and then coffee beans, but actually when it comes to getting paid for it, you don't see us anywhere. So yeah, it's just all kind of came full circle, really. It's just crazy. So yeah, sorry, that was a long-winded way of talking about
No.
That's
She just made me love that logo even
where
more.
Eko came from.
yeah.
And it's just a bright light. And I think at first we were like, we just used, our logo was just Eko Brewery. And then I was like, why don't we just use the bright light and just, but yeah, so again, so it does feel like a gamble. It was just like, we're just going to come out there and be like, oh, are people ready for what Africa has to offer? And then we're doing something so bold, but then our logo was quite like we felt, is it muted? But we're like, you know what? We just love this. We're gonna go with it. And yeah, that's how it came about, really.
The story behind it just is
So
really
good.
not like that. Just like I said, it just makes me like it even more.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it was like when we had your beer on the last, like when we had the podcast episode, and we were talking about sort of like the African brew because of that, and we talked about quays and stuff. I was like, actually, that makes me want to know more about that process. And I think like had I not sort of like tried that and then gone like, oh, I'm actually quite interested, like let me look into this a bit more, and okay, and then Joe was telling me about quasar and all that. I was like, I want to just know more now. I'm really, really interested. Like I didn't sort of realize that the processes, like the way the process was there and all that. It's just really fascinating. And yeah, just to hear that whole like full circle story is just, yeah, it just makes me even more interested. Like I think it makes the logo even more, I don't know, even nicer now. Like no, I already thought it was like really nice, and now I'm like, oh my god, it's amazing. it fits it so perfectly. Like I'm like, of course it does.
Yeah, I think we literally put everything from the beer to our, like we said at the beginning, Emma, before you came, when we started off with the beers, with the black, most people are like, why would you do like a porter or a dark beer as your first beer, right? And we were like, do you know what? Yeah,
it's so good.
Like, we feel like
why wouldn't you?
We were like, we just went for what we liked. And I think if you don't perfect your craft into what you enjoy, then you know what's the point. I think we started off with what we liked, and then we were like, right, we're gonna, not that we dislike the other styles, just this is what we prefer. Sitting down, my go-to literally is I'll have a lager, a Hell's 8 pills, and he would go for a porter. And we were like, why not just go for what we like, what you know how to brew, or you've perfected anyways with the black. Absolutely. And then we'll move on to the next. So everything's really just, it's so personal to both of us, and it means a lot. It does honestly mean so much. Thinking about it, I'm just like, whoa, put a lot of ourselves into this. Which I guess most people, and Emma, you would know, you too, you've put everything into this as well. So it's crazy. It's just a crazy journey that we started together, and we're just like really humbled to be here at this stage where when people buy our beers, like every order is just like, oh my goodness, amazing. And just having, you know, for example, you ladies wanting to speak to us, or when we do a live and people tune in, I'm just like, it's even for real. People want to listen to what we have to say and why we're doing this. But yeah, it's just super humbling, and yeah, we're just excited to see what's to come, really.
It's getting me emotional, and I'm like, but it also might be the 12%.
I think it's the
12%
I'm ready to pour myself another glass of black.
Oh my god, it's so good.
It's so drinkable. Like we have to talk to you guys about the actual collaboration of it. But I just want to keep saying, like, how is it so drinkable? Like,
this is Ollie and honestly, because this is so good. Like, anyways, Merakai's beers are just amazing. Like, we sit there and then they are
This is just like the power couple of breweries.
It really is, because it was like
so amazing.
It was like the dark beers that you guys have done at Eko, and then Ollie's ability to somehow make high alcohol beers that don't taste like high alcohol beers. We would literally best say combination in the world. Like their dipper, I was like, is there alcohol in this? Like I don't even understand. It tastes like a 5% beer, and it is like 8%.
Yeah. Last week, because I couldn't have this, we had the dipper, and I was just like, this is like, for me, honestly, it took me a while to get acclimatized or used to, you know, IPAs and dippers, because typically my palate, I wasn't used to very hoppy, bitter beers, and I think
me too, girl.
That's the one time.
Thank you. I know, and people look at me like, what? You don't like IPAs? Right. I was like, I'm sorry. Like, what do you want to do?
Right.
And as soon as I tasted theirs, I was just like, oh my, I could drink this all night, not wake up the next morning and look after my kids for them. But then I look after my kids. I do. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, but it's just like, we just drink them, and we love easy drinking beers. And I don't know. Ollie has
too
just
easy
mastered.
drinking. It's too easy drinking. It's
Yeah.
terrifying because of the fact that even since when we recorded with Merakai the last time, and I said this might be the best dipper I've ever had,
So good.
I genuinely it still is top spot for me in terms of dipper because it's so easy drinking. I tried buying it; it was out of stock. I was like, "What is this about?"
Why would it not be? It's so good.
The name was great.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is the original can that I've just held on to. That's like, I had like 3 of these. I was like, I've got to pour them away.
No.
I actually drank one and it still tastes really nice.
Yes.
No, sorry. It's best before. When would you put it best
Don't pour it
before?
away. That was a mark of beauty.
You can still drink it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can
Still
send you
drink
some and
it.
it's actually
It's
still really nice.
It's literally the beer that had me find you guys. Is because it came out and I went, this artwork's amazing, the name is amazing, I need to speak. I need to speak to them, and that's when I got in touch with them about like, so we just do a podcast, like, do you want to come on the podcast, because like I just want to try your beers, like I'm gonna put an order in, like let's have a chat. And then I was like, this is the most easy drinking dip I've ever had in my life. So it's like you've taken the ability to make this really amazing dark beer from one brewery and the ability to make it taste not boozy. I mean, it has that booziness to it that I think people that enjoy booziness would like, but it's not a burn. It's not like, it's not hard to drink whatsoever. It almost, for me, and I don't know like how you guys feel, it's almost like if you have a espresso martini.
Yeah.
Like that's what I feel like. It's that roastiness. It's the boozy level with the roastiness of an espresso martini. Yeah, but you're also getting vanilla in it as well.
Yeah. But do you know what? This might be controversial because I know how much people love espresso martinis. I do too.
Like,
but this is actually easier to drink than an espresso martini.
I'd agree. Yeah, this is smoother. I think it's smoother in the mouthfeel, because it's like a more full mouthfeel than you get from an espresso martini. It's more like velvety than an espresso martini, so it's just nice.
Have you got a warm tummy? Because my tummy is really warm right now. Just really warm,
cozy and happy.
It's the 12%.
It's the 12%.
I'm gonna like speaking of that. We do genuinely have to.
More in here.
Gonna actually talk to you guys about the collaboration, but I'm gonna pour myself more while I do it. But so you said you guys met on social media. Like, what prompted that? Tell us about that. That's interesting. I'm literally now halfway just to gauge this. I'm now halfway through the liter.
I love their artwork. I just love their artwork.
It's beautiful.
Honestly, I was just started liking. I think I liked a few of your posts because I saw the artwork. I was like, oh my god, what is this? This is like what? I loved it. I loved what was happening. I didn't really understand what was going on, but I was like, I liked this. Because I was just like, this is so
Ollie on the cans.
Yeah. I was like, look at that. That was so good. And I was just, I think this is right. And then I was trying to find Emma because then you messaged me, didn't you? You DM. And then and she was just super lovely. And Emma will probably tell you this part, but you know how a lot of people, you reach out and they're just like, this is why I don't. I was just like, when I saw your message today, I was just like, she must have thought, what,
No, I was like, they're busy. They'll get back to us when they've got time. It's fine.
Because I thought, oh my gosh, you're really busy, because I saw all your podcasts. I was just like, this is really great. Like, she's moving, and you know, and then I just realized you actually, and it was in, I don't know why it was in spam.
Spam. But it's okay because we've just
really bad that you thought that
we were too busy for you. No, we were just like, oh no, they're busy.
When the totem pole was like,
no. I was like, oh, they're really busy. It's fine. It's all right.
We were like, oh, we'll do this then. We'll do it then. It's like, yeah, this is great. Send an email. Let's do it. No emails. Like, oh, she must be really busy. And then I see it. So sorry, Emma. Just a bit of background. So just before today, when I was looking for the invite, I saw an email like unread, and it was in spam. And then I saw it was from like we'd been speaking on social media. I was like, yes, send an email. So then both Anthony and I will get it. And I remember saying to Anthony, did you get it? He was like, no, don't worry. I was like, oh, it's fine. And then and then I didn't want to be that person who's like, you said you would
Right, and I didn't
Not
want to
us.
be the person that was
Be that-
like,
be that
"Oh,
person,
like, I
be that
emailed you."
person.
Right, we're those people. We were just like,
Email
"Oh,
you.
they must be really busy. Oh, they'll get back to us when they
Yeah.
can." And we both did exactly the same thing.
But it has
It's fine.
happened though. It's in
I think that comes back
We're going to
to
book you in the
imposter
new
syndrome,
year.
though.
Spoilers, everybody.
Like I feel like Joe, I don't know if like you feel so. I feel like that kind of comes down to imposter syndrome as though, as well, though, because it feels like we are just. I know that we have a lot of people that enjoy listening to us and all that, and we get people that we like meet up with, and they're like, I listen to your podcast, and we're always surprised from people.
Always surprised.
Like when people come up to us at beer festivals and stuff, and they're like, I know you either from Instagram or from the podcast. I'm like, what? Like me? And it is that feeling of like, you just go, oh, they're really busy and I don't want to chase up, because like you kind of feel like, and Joe, correct me if I'm wrong at this, but you do kind of feel like, well, I'm just this lonely like podcast, but like I'm one of however many podcast people, and like you don't want to chase because you're like, well, you're really busy doing
Like,
all the
you're busy
important stuff to
making
make a living.
amazing beer.
This is just what
Yeah.
this is just fun on the side to get to chat to people and like share conversations with people, and it's like, oh, I don't want to like, oh, I'll just let it go because I'm sure they're really, really busy.
Change it. Like,
Yeah.
like, honestly, we've all got to be like super honest, and it might just be a case that like someone's missed it or whatever. I know that I have to sell, and sometimes I kind of like I'm not an aggressive seller. I always think
I'm not either.
Someone don't want to buy our beer, is not interested, then that's okay. I'm not going to push it on them. If they're not into it or whatever, then that's like totally fine. But like to instigate like a conversation and try and kind of, get an answer out of someone, I think let's just empower ourselves, because we're all like,
and that's it. I totally agree in theory. But then when it comes to practice, I'm like, yeah, but then what if they were like trying to send me like, no, obviously this is not the case with the thing with you, but I'm saying like on social media, if I've messaged someone, they've not responded, I'm like, I should just take the hint. Like, I don't want to like, they're just being like, I don't want to keep messaging them.
We've got
and
to
then
start
they're
putting
like,
that
what
aside.
are you doing?
And we got to just got go in there. And until somebody says, no, I'm not interested, then we're like, cool, okay, thanks.
Because I'm that same person, Emma, where I'm like, I would make every time someone says, oh, there's this job going at this brewery for sales. And I'm like, I am not a salesperson, because if I'm like, do you want a beer? And they're like, no, I'm like, that's cool.
That's exactly what you have. That's exactly what you have to do, because then you're not wasting your time and you move on to the next. You don't, it's like kind of like a bit desperate when you constantly go after it.
But that's my mind of what sales is, isn't it? It's like, because what I'm used to in like the tech world of sales is it's like you cold call people, you give them what it is you give them something of like, here is what you want to buy. And that's just not me. I mean, that's never, when I worked retail when I was younger, it would be like, try to upsell, and I'd be like, but they don't want a thing. If they wanted the thing, like they came in, if that's the thing they wanted, they would have bought it. It's not the thing they wanted, hence they didn't buy it. And it's like, I don't want to.
Sometimes they don't even know what they want.
There you go.
They don't know they want it. Honestly, loads of people with ours, they didn't know they wanted like South African hops until we told them, look, this is a
I mean, that's right. I guess that's the thing, is I didn't even know that was like an option. And I didn't know that was an option for me, because I was like, well, I'm not in South Africa, so like, how am I going to get these amazing beers? And then when we got your beers, I was like, oh my god, this beer is amazing. Like, I need to know more about this. So I guess you're right in that sense. It's like some people don't even know. You don't know what you don't know. So it's that's but to go back to the actual collaboration, I feel like we've drifted out. So you guys connected on social media, and then like, when did you how long ago was it that you guys actually first made contact, and then when did you actually decide to do a collab?
When we first started, like as Helena mentioned, you kind of like have this enthusiasm where you reach out to people who you kind of think are sort of like you. And the obvious thing, like for me to do, was try and search for like partner kind of, like and especially if they were like women involved, I was like, and reaching out to like the breweries with, who are kind of like co-owned or like female owned, just to go like, hello, like this is me, can we make a connection? and it kind of got like a bit of radio silence. So yeah, that's nice. You know what I mean? And then it wasn't until Helena who was like chat, and I went, yeah, I could get on with her. And I subsequently met like another pairing of Tartarus, who like Jordan, who's like, you know, the female member of Tartarus, who's just like, yeah, cool. And, you know, you just have those connections with people who are just open to, you know, kind of like, we're not here to compete with you. We're here to kind of make connections and support each other and like help each other grow. And it's just like really nice. I love, so what you don't realize is Oliver's kind of like wandering around in the back row because he's just got home from doing
Hi, Ollie.
Hi, Ollie. There he is.
Hello. Amazing.
But it's not about him. It's about like,
really.
it's about Helena and I.
Yes.
And yeah, like
This out.
I was waiting for you to full on like put your palm in his face. It's not about him.
It's not about you. It's about beer. But now, like, you get kind of friendlies, and it's kind of good to have people in the industry who you can connect with, who know kind of like what you're going through, and you can bounce ideas off of. Helena was like super kind of receptive to me, and kind of like I to her likewise. And then from there we just kind of continued like talking about stuff to do obviously with like the beer industry, because it's always nice to kind of have, you know, like that connection for someone to understand like what it is to be in this
you, and just like no one really knows you. I mean, some people do, but when you look at the whole industry, like loads of people don't know us. So yeah, it was good to just find someone on that wavelength, and just who understands the journey, what's happening, how incredibly stressful it can be. As amazing as it is, it's incredibly stressful. And so yeah, it was just, and for me, I always give people a chance, I think, especially because we it's just us two, right? So I manage like all the socials, and you know, sometimes do some sales as well, but Anthony's full-time on that at the moment because we're still contract brewing. He's a lot more on the sales side at the moment. But just, I'm like, well, if you're gonna message me, and the least I can say is reply and say, hey, or you know, let's see what you're about or whatever. And then I think I'm learning to be more assertive now, especially with, you know, there's some people will be like, oh, can we do this and can we do that? And it's like, yeah, that's really not in our capacity to do, I'm sorry. But also there's this element of just being a human being, like, for goodness sake, you know, just someone's going to reach out to you, there's a reason. So, and especially for new brewers out there, and new business owners, finding someone who's going through what you're going through is hard. Or maybe not, do you know what, or finding someone who's willing to actually who's willing to like admit they're going through what you're going through, and that struggle, and then just like willing to support you and not see you as a competitor, because there's so many big breweries out there and they're flourishing and doing well, and it's like we can all have a piece of that pie. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so for me it's super important, whoever messaged me, unless I completely miss it, to respond.
It's fine.
Like, it's like now I'm literally like with Emma on WhatsApp, because I'm like, I've seen your email, or like I'll check your email, and I'm not ignoring you, because I still work as well. I still have like a day job.
Yeah,
I love.
I
hear that. I hear that.
It is tiring. I do love it. I genuinely do love what I do. Just there is that side of me who's like, I'm just like, I need to just use my brain, and like solve problems for people, but also there's this, right, and it's our baby. And but yeah, so yeah, it was really great. Just, I'm really glad Emma reached out and we found them, and now we have this amazing beer.
Yeah,
Amazing beer that I'm going to drink. Like I drank half of it now, and
I'm literally half a
Right.
liter in. It's like it is. I told you it's lethal.
So
It's
good.
just it's
Yeah.
gonna be about 9 o'clock tonight, and I'm gonna be like, woo, let's go and do like
it's literally.
yeah.
I mean, we have like
That's what my
lines,
brain.
right?
That's
Yeah.
what my brain
You can
thinks
see
of
all the
TikTok.
the
It's about
lines,
9
and that's
o'clock.
where I really should have stopped, and I didn't. I went all the way to.
Yeah, no, I'm in it with you. Don't worry, we're in this
Yeah,
together.
we're in
That's
there.
what this
It's
is
fine.
about.
Thirds
Out of sheer
of a pint.
curiosity, what do you do then as your day job? Because I think we can, like Joe and I can definitely both relate. Like, because, and I know Emma, you could relate for long as well because you had your job, and then that's when you sort of decided to transition.
Oh, and I'm going back to it as well because we need more investment. We need more investment in the brewery. So in order for us to kind of like get investment, because one of the things that, sorry, I'm kind of like interrupting you talking about.
No, it's fine.
No, go for it.
From a business perspective, people kind of like don't really want to lend you money. So I'm kind of like at this point, in order for me to get loans and do things, I have to go back. Like I have to go back to work, and I am doing like a contract, so I can say that I'm earning.
Oh,
Yeah.
So people will give us money.
honestly,
I've gone back to work. I'm going back to work in January.
Oh,
The way the world works, it's like you're selling, you have a viable business that's doing well, but they're like, we're not going to give you money, we're going to give someone who already has money.
Right. We've seen
Oh
your
my God.
growth. We've seen in a year how you've gone from point A to point B, but actually we're just going to give more money to like Elon Musk or something.
Yeah.
So we can like shoot
Right.
AI up into space or something like that, something ridiculous like that. When the second you're like, we need some more investors, I was like, okay, how much money can I drum together? not enough money to be an investor.
I need to be honest. I had like the best intentions to be like, yeah, this is me full time, and now like the reality of it is we are growing, and to kind of to like achieve that growth, I can't get like the financial like support that we need. So I've just got to go out and hustle and just get it done. Do you know what I mean? So
I actually think there's some level about like that transparency. I think that's actually really nice for people to hear, because I think there's a lot of people that only hear the nice side of brewing. I mean, we, like Joe and I have had this conversation.
I was going to say, I feel like we had this conversation.
We've had this
the other
conversation
day.
together. We've had it with when we were speaking to somebody else. I won't say sort of here. There was a few people that we've spoken to where I was like, you know what, actually the transparency is quite nice, because I think people on the other side, especially when they make complaints over things that are quite small, that are not, you have a right to sort of complain and ask and expect a certain level of thing, but I think there's some people that don't understand what goes on behind the scenes, so their expectations are unrealistic. And I actually think that by coming out and being transparent about that helps shed a bit of light on what happens on the other side, because I think a lot of people see big breweries do, like, the breweries that are able to push out X amount of liters, however, in a month, they see those breweries and they go, well, why can't you just do that? And they don't understand what those roadblocks are. So I am all about the transparency, and I applaud that, because I think if you come out and you say like, actually, brew like Merakai, you're from the outside, it very much looks like you're successful, you're doing well, you're growing, and you are. And for you to say, actually, we can't get that.
Like it's more money for ingredients and kind of like more money for things like that, because you have to. I'm actually gonna shut up, because like Helena's job is like super important, and like I'll just
keep going.
There's time for all of it. There's time for all of it,
and I think what you're saying is important.
Kind of ultimately, like the demands out there in the market, since we've been going for as long as we have now, which is like 12 months, I've got a good kind of understanding of what the expectations are in market. The expectations out in market are that the kind of like end consumer, it seems, they don't kind of like really buy the same beer over and over again, unless it's kind of like a specific beer. Like I'll just use the example of Steady Rolling Man. Every time Steady Rolling Man by Day is kind of released, people will, just buy it, and that's like standard. That's absolutely fine. But ultimately within craft, you will see like breweries kind of put out maybe kind of like 2, 3, 4. In some cases, some breweries are putting out like a couple of beers a week, right? And that is like unsustainable for like small businesses like Hella and I. And with regards to kind of like us, we've actually started putting out like 3 beers a month, which is like absolutely massive.
Yeah.
And it's the case that when we've got like a new beer coming out, it's really exciting. I've still got like a little bit of stock left from the previous beers kind of like that we've done. And people are just like, I don't know whether I want to kind of like buy those again. We just like, we want new because of, you know, what our consumers demand basically. So the investment is going into kind of like making sure that we can like afford those ingredients, because the way Oliver brews, he doesn't brew cheap.
Yeah.
It's a fucking nightmare. You know,
this is-
We've had this conversation.
Yeah, we've had this
We've had
conversation.
this conversation with someone we cannot say on
Sorry.
camera because it's a
It's-
private conversation. But
nightmare.
But it's crazy
Yeah.
you say that. Sorry to cut you, but I remember when we
Go.
saw the malt bill for the for one day, and we were like, this is how their beers are so fucking good. Like literally, because I just look at the ingredients in this, and yeah, but
Yeah, he likes
it
to
is
kind of
expensive.
make it complex. And then with regards to like the fruited beers, especially like the pure is a fucking killer.
Yeah.
Like it's a
but
fucking
those
killer.
frozes,
They do
though.
well
Yeah.
and they sell
They're so
and they
good,
sell
though.
out.
It's so good.
But it's just making sure that we're kind of like getting that product mix right, that people will buy and people kind of like want from us basically. So like, so that's why I have to kind of go back to work so I can get that money in, so we can just kind of get those ingredients in and just like keep it going, because we started big. You know, like we started.
You ripped
Well,
that dipper out. You ripped that
Set that bar.
drinkable dipper
Oliver
out.
brought-
Like
no, I mean,
right at
like-
the start.
What I mean by that is like Oliver bought a 10-barrel brew kit we did before we'd even launched.
Yeah.
Right. So like that was the thing that we were going to use. And when we were cooker brewing, like we had our feet installed at Arundel first, and then moved to Abyss, and we were kind of like brewing out of that until we obviously got our place 8 months ago. So it's like we haven't kind of, you know, brewed in someone's pub or kind of home brewed and then kind of like built that relationship with everybody like slowly over time. We've just gone in the fucking deep end, and at the moment it's like the parity between kind of like selling out, finding new customers like all the time. So that's a stressful life. That's normally not how people would do it. Like, you know, there's a brewery called Maki, which is kind of like further on down the coast from us, and they, you know, brew out of a pub, and they've done a lot of collaborations and they've got a massive following, but like their brew kit is nowhere near as big as ours.
Yeah.
And like they're kind of, you know, they've made a name for themselves and they're kind of getting bigger and bigger, and we're like, hello, we're 1 year old, we've got a 10-barrel brew kit.
This is
But
such
Hey,
an
I'm gonna do
important
it.
conversation to have, because I think like a lot of people don't realize this in the background. Like they
It's a
want
race
all
to the
these
bottom, isn't it?
they
I
want
want
all these
a
different-
£3 dipper. I want a £5 dipper.
They want all these different beers. They want a different beer every month. Like
Yeah.
that's an investment in ingredients. Well, I mean,
I'm guilty.
no shade.
Yeah.
I love a
I'm
different
guilty.
beer.
I
love
feel
different
personally
beers. I'm
attacked,
hi. Like trying all the different beers, but you then have to understand that means a lot of new ingredients, testing, like, and then like I like really testing it and like developing it and getting it to the point where it's like, yes, this is a banging beer, we're going to put this out.
Yeah.
Like there is that can take time sometimes, and then I like the really interesting beers.
I was gonna say, I think we both go for like, that's weird.
Yeah, we like
Let's
the weird
go for
beers.
that.
They don't sell to everybody. Like
Trying to get people to do a pumpkin beer is like a mission. Like
places we get
beer is a mission.
But
So-
also because it'll just get stuck during the mashing. So
how
we've
was that
learned from like all the
beer?
experimental. We're going out
Yeah.
to these people and we're like, oh, add this in, add cassava, and we're like, it might clog up your, just try it.
Take cinnamon. Just give me cinnamon. Just chuck
Cinnamon is fine.
Like you
But
mentioned that, but what about kind of like I know we're talking about our collaboration, but what about your collaboration with Wildcard?
Yeah,
There's
I
a
wouldn't-
squash
I
in
wouldn't
that.
get that.
Is that
Yeah.
like personal
The
experience?
that and cassava with cloud water. We were like, well, we did tell them. We were like, as we do, we were like, cause obviously that's something that we eat in Africa, and we're like, when it's like heated up really high temperatures, it gets doughy. So
did you do like it gets doughy, bye, and then
it gets doughy.
I have to go to the toilet, bye.
After they brought everything, they're like, "Oh,
know.
you tell us that now." But no, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, in the end, it was fine. But yeah, God, this is why I love having these conversations, because you've hit the nail on its head. Even the testing, and especially for us with our USP being African inspired, we love it, but people are like, "Oh, you're gonna," and it's like, yeah, but we have to, and some of the ingredients and like the hops we have to source, and we have to make sure. It's like we're trying to make good beers as well, and we're trying to stay true to. It's like all of that. It will just be fake of us, I think, to just be like, "Oh, let's just make a beer for the sake of it," without us just thinking about what it means to us, because at the end of the day, it's now ingrained in us. I don't think there's any other way for us to operate, right? So even with you guys, you've got this massive brew, like, and Ollie's, he's, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't matter how long he's been doing for, he's an expert brewer, because the beers he is popping out are amazing. So you have to just stay true to yourself. And I understand the consumer wants to support you. And it's like, so you need to understand that journey. And I completely get wanting to have loads of different beers, because at the end of the day, in the craft beer market and scene, that's what they want. That's what they're used to. But it's so difficult, especially with the testing. That we have a couple of beers that we're trying to get out, and testing.
That's it, though. So you want the highest, you're gonna want the highest ingredients you can possibly get, so you can put out a better product. And I think the bigger you are, the more you have leeway to say, I'm gonna buy this particular thing, and some of this can go to the lower price point things, some of this is going to go to the higher price point things, and it's, you have a lot more leeway. I think it's definitely got to be, the smaller you are, the more difficult it has to be for you to either source ingredients, ingredients in the first place, and B, to, you know, make it cost effective and affordable, and it is got to be so difficult. I mean, I can't even imagine.
I'm going to be honest, like, full disclosure, so a lot of our customers are restaurants, and to be honest, Emma knows from trying to call people and just being like, "Hey, we're new," and they're just like, "Who are you?" Just not go away, but go away.
Right.
But they're like, no one really knows you. So the people who first, just like, you, Tori, was saying, you looked at this, you were like, "Oh, this is really different. What's the story?" Restaurants buy into that more, because obviously it's gonna be on their menu. Once it's on their menu, they're like, "Listen, like,
I would love that if I got Eko Black at a restaurant." Oh my god! Yes, that's what I want.
Literally, we were like, "Is this gonna go?" And our first customer was like a Michelin star restaurant, our first ones, and we were like, "Whoa, okay." And like, so now it's like we have to keep producing this beer, because we're not going to let them down. And so, we want to bring out new beers, and we are thinking, and we've sourced the ingredients, we're going through testing, but also it's like we have this client base that's supported us, and we have to make sure these beers are there for them, right? And I completely understand, as a consumer, I buy shit and I don't always think about like what's happening. And I'm like, "I want this thing." Like, I went to this dim sum place and they didn't have this item that I've always had. And I was like, "What do you mean?" type thing. Okay, I wasn't belligerent about it. But so I completely
I was really looking forward to that.
Like, you've had this.
I want my steam bun. I need this.
Everyone buys this. Like, what do you mean you don't have it anymore? And so I completely get it. But like, it's really important that Emma spoke about this and that we're speaking about it, because even the bigger breweries, if they tell you some of the conversations we've had, and a lot of them will be open if you ask them about their initial journey, they will tell you that the struggle was fucking real. So everybody sees this amazing, end product, but actually the beginning and
it's
even
the whole process, isn't it?
It's the whole process.
Yeah.
It is difficult, and
it might be something that you go, "This is creative. I really want to do this really creative, unique flavor." And I guess part of the, like, we obviously know that there's, you know, with just take pumpkin spice beers, because that's one that Joe and I harp on about like all
Because she
the
just
time. So
like,
like,
it's
still
just
looking.
We talk
I think
about
it's
it
the
a
one
lot.
that we
Fine.
talk
And we
about
love
it
you.
a lot. We talk
we
about
love
it a lot,
you.
but it's the
One day.
but what I mean is, like, you have the first hurdle obviously is going to be, you know, the consumer reaction to it, where, you know, in the UK you don't get that consumer reaction you get in the US. It's not flavors that, you know, the majority tend to like or want in a beer. But actually what happens, I mean, I'm about to pour another glass of it, but what actually happens is the ingredients that you have to get the right type of pumpkins for it to, you know, we spoke to S43 about their collaboration with Brew, and it's like you have to get, you know, the pumpkins are a whole thing in itself, and you have to get the right ones, and then it's all the spices that go into it, and then okay, the chocolate. You know, when we spoke to Heist, when we went to go do a collaboration with them and we were looking at ingredients, it was like, oh, there's this cool chocolate malt, but, you know, can we get more of this? I don't know if we can get more of this, don't know. And I think that's a lot of stuff that people don't tend to think about. They think about the end product. I'm guilty of this. I think we're probably all guilty of this to some point or another. You think of the end product and you have to kind of take a step back and think, well, what's the journey to get here? And that's why it upsets me when I see people that are like, you know, I've got friends that will be that person that's like, oh, £5 for a 440ml can, and I'm like,
that's not that's not
like, that's not
the market.
It's not.
That's all right.
That's
all right. You
And
know,
I'm this massive advocate for beer costing what it should cost, and with profit, because like there's this myth that beer should be cheap. And with our craft beers, with the artisan beers that we're getting, the ingredients that go into it cost money. So you need to, that's going to be passed on to the consumer. There's always this, like, there's always about every few months an article in the newspaper where it's like, in London, you buy a pint of this and it's £15. And I'm like, nobody is selling that in a pint.
No one
is selling that.
And my dad nearly had a bloody heart attack when he was just like, I'm paying more than £1.50 for a pint. What is this?
You went to Sheffield and I paid £1.75 for a half pint, and I was like, "What is this witchcraft?"
Like, sorry,
it's like,
take my money.
What? Again? Like, I don't. I was like, it is definitely more than that.
But we've got to change. We've got to change it. Like, beer needs to cost what it costs. Like, just like wine, people will pay ridiculous amounts of money for wine.
But no, I think this whole. I think you're right, Emma. It is. I think there's a lot of. The mistake that I think newer breweries can fall into is the trying to please everyone game. And you're not going to please everybody. You have to understand that there are going to be people that will go, I love your taste. I love the style. I love everything about it. But the price point for me is just off. But if you reduce that, it then becomes you cannot make it because financially you cannot afford to make it. And I think that's the thing that maybe, and I don't know, Helen, if you can add to this, but, you know, from breweries that are starting out, they're, you know, gaining traction, like, you have to it's probably difficult to disconnect and say, you know, as a consumer I empathize with you, but as a business owner I physically you know, I can't. There's only so much you can do.
Much, 100%. And I think one of the and it's not just from the point of, you know, what we sell to the consumer or when we brew, but like it's the whole supply chain and even delivering. So for us, for example, at the moment, so we can't afford to like ship single cans, right, or bottles, because £3.50 for, like, what are we going to charge you for delivery? £18? Like, it just doesn't make sense. So at the moment we have to sell, you can't really get single cans from us. And I know, and literally my DMs and like emails, all I get is, where can I get a single? And you can tell people are hinting and like, oh, I want to support you, but I can't really get a single can from you because you don't have them and you only have this, you know, your haze is like £52 and am I going to get 12 of these? I completely understand that, but some people do get it and then, you know, others don't. And I'm just like, But right now, where we are at, we can't afford to send you a single can. We just can't. We can't even afford to send you 3 or 4 bites. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, you could get it, but you'll have to get a substantial amount to be able to get free delivery, because it costs us a fortune to be able to send it to you. And listen, I want to be able to send you that single can, because trust me, we will be selling shitloads more, but it's just not feasible. Otherwise,
people don't realize
like,
that
we're gonna
though.
close. We'll close
Yeah.
next week. Like, it's just not feasible. And yeah, so yeah, it's just these.
I've had this conversation with people before, like quite a few times on Facebook forums and otherwise, about I don't think people, and again, this brings back to like Emma, why I think it's important to be transparent is I think people just think you put the same as I send a package to Joanne with 2 beers in it. I go to Royal Mail and I pay £3 for 2 cans and I go, here you go, Royal Mail. And then it delivers it to her in happy days. And when you order from a brewery, it's not like that, but that's not how businesses operate. And I think there's a lot of people that don't understand the end-to-end process of brewing and how you can't just do that. And I think that is quite important. And I guess that's where local bottle shops can come into play. So I know like my local, one of my local cafe, coffee shop / craft beer place where I go and play Dungeons and Dragons every week. That's where I got the Eko Pale 3. Is they have 1, 2, and 3. They had tried all your beers as well, and they were like, they're all good, but 3 is definitely like, they're like, go 3. 3's the best one. They were like, yes. And they had the pills, local breweries supporting and having guest beers. I've gone to Elusive, they've got Eko Pills there. It's supporting
and you know
each
what?
other.
They have been good. I can't even, and I understand as well from even as a business owner, I understand a bottle shop being like, right now this isn't the right time, and I completely get it. It's like, but I get it as well. But also the ones who have been able to support us, like honestly, massive thanks to them, because it is, I can completely get it. It's not easy. You're like, this new brewery is coming up, will I sell anything? And so whenever they just take a chance on us, we are super grateful and super humble. And but yeah, the Pale 3, I
went in there and I was like,
favorite. It's like
Southern Passion. Need to try mine first.
Well, I went in there and I was like, you've got Eko, yay! And then I was like, I need to get one. I was like, I'm gonna get one. Like, which one should I get? And they were like, they had tried them all. They knew, like, they definitely knew what they were talking about. And they were like, number 3. They were like, they're all good. You can't go wrong with any of them. They're like, my favorite was the 3, and I was like, I'll go with your favorite, dealer's choice. And
that hop is just I'm just like, what is this hop about? And literally, and this is where, and then hearing from South African brewers who are like, Southern Passion is like off it, and after we tried it, I was like, this is my favorite, I don't care, I'm sorry, like, I love the others too, they're obviously good,
we're all good,
but that
we love you all.
Like, and then hearing a South African brewer saying, we love this, I was like, yes. I feel validated. It's amazing, because they brew with these hops all the time. They know them, oh God, and they know how to work with
right? They're not like easy for you to get. They're not like accessible, like the struggle you have to go through.
Especially now, like think about the ban that's come on, like, as well, because of the new Omicron. Like, that's got to make it even
harder.
Difficult.
Yeah, exactly.
They want bulk. Like, they want, like, to buy in bulk, and they'll only sell to kind of like big players, and there's only like certain kind of breweries who can't afford to buy New Zealand hops and like other hops, and it just kind of like doesn't help, like breweries like Eko, who are just like, we want to kind of show people and showcase African continent. It's like, you need to buy, like, I don't know,
that's great, but and you're like,
yeah, exactly. So it's insane, it's crazy, and there's this whole world behind it, and I think people know that, but actually when it comes to buying and when you're a consumer, you're just like,
you don't think about it, do you?
You don't think about it.
No.
So and I get it. You know what, it's been mostly positive, and I can see that I can read between the lines when I get contacted and people are like, so and I'm like, oh, I know what you want, honey, but
I would love to, but not today.
I would love, like, listen, in a year's time, like, God willing, we have our own space. We just, and it'll be great. You can come, you can get as much as you want.
It's gonna happen.
Have like a license, thank you.
Best in it.
A premise license, and you can just have your one can if you want. Like, try it. Half a can. No, not half a can. One.
No, not half a can.
Full
Whole
can.
can.
Whole
Whole
can.
can's only here.
But that's what we're working towards. So it's just, God.
I feel like I can tell exactly why you guys. I feel like the whole question of like, why did you guys decide to collaborate? Well, that's like tick answer.
Yeah, we've answered
don't even need to ask that question really. But what I did need to ask, because of the fact that we diverted away from it, and I need to know now, because it's like because Emma said it also, like, it's really interesting. What do you do for work?
So
I'm buckled up for a story.
no, it's not. I'm just like, it was just like, I have to work, and my parents were like, read your books, and so I was just like, my background is in law, and I am a financial crime consultant. So
that's amazing.
When we say crime, like what kind of crime are we talking? I love true crime. What type of true crime?
Money laundering, money laundering,
Ozarks,
bribery and corruption. That is, I don't tell you how to do it. I tell you how to protect.
You don't tell them how to do it. You tell them that they have done it.
Like, oh, this looks like you are hiding some funds. So yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, you like you're just like, I'm not saying how to do it, but I know you've done it because I know what you've done.
I know what you've done. I know what this looks like. So yeah, so I do there's this, my brain just works in a way where I like solving problems based on what I know legally and regulatory. I'm like, you're doing it wrong, or you're doing it right, or you're
money laundering, and you're like, you're money laundering wrong. You've not done it right. I've caught you. You've not done it. Way to do it.
No, it's more like, it's more my clients. I'll be like, look, one of your clients could potentially be money laundering type thing. So I advise my clients on what to look out for and how to make their systems more robust. And so yeah, it's very, very demanding, but I really do enjoy it. I'm not even lying when I say it. It's a lot. That's my day job. But yeah, and I was like, this year has been amazing, and I've been really able to focus. I put a lot into Eko because I was also on maternity leave because I just had a 1-year-old. So it was like, and now I'm just like, I'm trying to juggle the two, and it's, yeah.
You don't need to say anything. Literally, full-time job, and then just doing something like podcasting or updating an Instagram. Like, I don't need to do that. That is not important whatsoever. But even still, I'm like, I'm trying to.
It's the dream.
That's it. So I went to school for journalism. In the back of my brain, I'm like, I like writing. I want to start to figure out how to write in a beer space. So like I started this blog, and then I proceeded to not update it ever until recently. And now I'm like, try to do that. And that feels like, between that and podcasting, like that feels like a part-time job in itself. And that is such like low level priority.
But no, I mean, like, I can't imagine like being a mum and doing my job and fucking running a brewery as well.
Right.
Like, I just don't know how you have the time. Like, I just don't even know how you have the time.
I don't know how I have
remove the mum thing out of it. I can't imagine doing a job and running a brewery. So both of you guys, like, full stop.
Rock stars.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like I love this conversation just because I feel like people will have a greater appreciation for that alone. Like, that is just amazing. Yeah,
I do think that people think it's just like, popping
just
in,
turn up,
brewing a beer, drinking some beer, fun, and it's
even
not.
for those who do it full time, it's not.
Yeah.
What goes on in a brew day is just even just one day. It's like, it's insane.
We learned this.
He had a good time. I mean, he kind of, dug some stuff out, worked hard, and then had a pizza, given instant coffee. Like, he had the best time.
You have to, but if you're the visiting collaboration, you have to dig out the mash. Those are the rules.
I did it.
Those are the
I
rules.
did it.
Yeah.
It's like,
we did it when we did our collab with
all that, the cassava and the yam and stuff. It looks really super glamorous because you see some of these big breweries and they're like, oh, but actually the day of the brewery, you're just like, oh my goodness, like you're really working hard, aren't you? You're like sweating here.
Right,
Can I just
right.
ask, like,
So yeah, they do.
I've seen Jaeger online, I've seen like beer masters, and she's so glamorous and gorgeous, and
Yeah.
then there she is like mucking in and
She
brewing and
gets
I've
stuff.
brewed with her
involved.
twice. She she is
She gets
she's
involved. She gets
hands in. Like
involved.
she taught me so much. Just I've brewed with her twice, and I've learned a lot from Jaeger.
Just,
I think it sends like such a positive message of like,
Yeah.
you don't have to just be I hate this expression, but tomboy. Like you don't have to just be a tomboy.
No, not
like
at
you can
all.
be so like you can have so many different layers to you. Like I could be like, I feel like dressing up and looking my most like eleganza look like in the world.
Yeah.
And then also I can like muck into a brew. Like I could go and I could dig out a
Why
mash
not?
tun as well. Like I just
Why
think
not?
like, why box ourselves into one category? Like
Exactly.
we can have so many different ways to be.
Reaching.
And with men as well, you know, you'll see a man in a suit is fine. And then when it's so weird because people are like, oh, a man in a suit, it looks so great. And then he would be like going out in a field and doing something that's perceived, you know, like, you know, quote unquote manly or I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Then it's like,
right.
that's great. But for women, it's like, fine, we can look glamorous. And then we also want to do things that we enjoy that might not seem super glamorous. And you get mucky and then it's, really?
Oh my god.
Like,
There
what
was
the hell?
like
Seriously.
flicking through TikTok and there was a girl who's a builder.
Yes,
And this
I saw
guy-
that
did you see
TikTok.
it? And this
Yes, I
guy
saw
was
this
just like, this is the most
TikTok.
unattractive thing I've ever seen. And I was
And
like,
she
"Are
was
you
like,
joking? Girl, she's building
Yeah.
houses. Shut
She
your
was
mouth."
she shoveled
Right.
like concrete
Mate,
from the ground
You
floor
come
up
down.
to
You come down here
thing.
and
I was
do this,
like-
please, because I can guarantee that you, sir,
Yeah.
cannot do
Cannot
that.
do it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you know what? There's so many layers to people, and that's
Yeah.
what makes it amazing, right? Like as human beings, and why try to repress that?
Yeah.
No, exactly.
Do you? Everybody
I
needs
want
to
to
be
wear makeup
themselves.
every day at the brewery and kind of
Yes.
like if I do a brew day, I want to
Why
look
not?
like, you know, a little bit land girl,
Yes.
like, glamorous.
You want to?
Get the
Why
dungarees
not?
out.
I love it. I love the hair.
Yes.
was
I
like,
love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Do it.
looking, you know, no more beards. Just
Come on,
like
babes.
lipstick.
I'm going for. I mean, I am
Lipstick
going for
and
like
hair.
no shave November.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I mean, that's over now.
I mean,
but,
it's
you
over.
know.
We are in
Too late.
December now.
Yeah, we're in
Yeah,
December.
we are in
It's
December.
getting
but-
to you.
Yeah. Girls' night in with the 12% stout.
6 days into December, I can't believe it.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to pretend that time's not moving that fast.
Moving
Can't
super
even.
fast.
We've got some brew tours booked in, which I'm really excited about. And
Amazing.
one of them is like in between Boxing Day and New Year. And I'm like,
No, but that'll make it even better because you'll be like, drink, and they'll be like,
well, I will
"Yes."
actually, because yeah, like we're gonna it's like a really small amount of people, but we're just gonna make it as fun as possible.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like crank up the heat. It's very cold in the brewery, and it's quite grim when it's cold. But just kind of like put some fairy lights in and do all that shit. I don't know. I've got
It'd be
off on it.
beautiful.
They'll love it. They will
It will be
absolutely
great.
love
It
it.
will be
The,
great.
the one day is
One day.
I cannot wait to come and visit because like
Me
since you guys
too.
opened up, I was like, I need to come and visit. But obviously I can't do that by the end of this year. I just thought like it was going to take you guys longer to physically open, and then you were like, no, we're open.
We're open.
I was like,
Amazing.
what? And I feel like Joe's going to get to meet you first because you're going to go and do a thing in Canterbury, which
Yes,
we'll get to in the
yeah.
plugging.
I'm so
We're going to
excited.
get to in the plugging section of this.
Yeah.
But I'm jealous because Joe's going to get to meet you first, and I'm like,
yes,
tears.
IRL
Not fair.
in real life.
Yeah,
yes,
I'm
like meeting
excited.
Joe at
I
a,
can't wait.
Thing.
I still haven't met, like, it's crazy because I was meant to go down for the brew day and then, you know, the whole being, it's like, we need a babysitter because all we do is just get family to do stuff. And they do it with a smile, but like, I can't help but think in the back of their mind, they're just like, what is wrong with you people?
I can relate though. Like when Joe and I first met, I think was it earlier this year? What was the first time? I can't even remember.
Yeah,
now.
it was
last
earlier
year?
this
It
year.
was earlier this year that we met
earlier
for the
this year was
first time.
Yeah.
After having done a podcast together for months, and
Yeah.
people were like, "Don't you guys like live
Yeah.
near each other?" And we were like,
No.
"No."
Yeah, she was like, I'm gonna go see Joe for the first time. And they're like, haha.
And then I was on her like Insta
no.
Live, and everyone was
Yeah.
like, "Didn't you know each
Yeah, they're
other?"
like,
and I was like,
No,
"No,
we've
it's the
not.
first time we've ever
We
met."
met.
This is
We
the
met
amazing
online.
thing about
Yeah.
like Instagram and social media and Zoom. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's the
Just
one thing that I'm
changed
very
the game.
thankful for the COVID for is
Yeah.
if COVID never happened, I would have never met like Emma, I would have never met you. I probably would have never tried Eko because I wouldn't have dove into craft beer the way that I had, and I would have never met Joe. Like I joined the Facebook groups because of the fact that I was like, we can't do anything else. I might as well do, join groups that I like. And then I became really involved in those groups and met so many amazing people from that, started an Instagram from that and connected with so many people. Like that's the one takeaway that I'm like, yeah, that's a good one. Because I've got to try a lot of great beer and meet a lot of great people.
Well, the whole of the pandemic, I was like pregnant, so I couldn't drink it.
Oh
I was just
no.
like,
Oh no.
great.
You didn't even enjoy it. God.
fantastic. I was like, yeah, you enjoying that? Poor Anthony though, he was really great. He was like, I want to support you and not. And then I was like, listen, this is too depressing. Just drink. Just drink.
Please give me the
drink.
tasting
Do
notes.
not
Give me the
drink it.
tasting notes.
Let me
Like,
smell it.
Yeah, you drink it. But it's actually with Joan, and like I love beer learning. It's just amazing because it reinforces everything that I already know about beer anyways,
Amazing.
because you're like, oh, and it's like, oh, it's just great. I love it.
Oh, thank
Learn
you.
so many great things.
I can only double down on that because like Joe's the reason why. Like anytime I'm like writing something, like I'm not even joking. I wrote a blog post the other day about holiday gifting, and I was like, Joe, can you just check something for me just to make sure that I've not like massively ballsed something up? And then she's like,
I'm like,
no, it's all good.
It's
I was
all
like,
like,
oh, thank
it's
you.
all
I
accurate.
love
It's
it.
all great. Yeah, go
It's
for
just
it.
it's having that sounding board that you're like, oh, you make me feel even more confident.
And you know what? I
Just being
still
like, yeah, you're
have
right.
those circling way back round to that old imposter syndrome. Like I still have those moments where I'm like, oh, I'm going to post this, and I'm like, well, if someone tells me I said it wrong, I haven't said it wrong.
cares?
I know what I'm talking about in
no.
beer. I know what I'm talking about in beer, and I need to stop that.
Yeah,
You do know what you're talking about.
Thank you.
Yeah, like exactly.
Beyond.
I'll echo, pardon the pun, Helena's comment there and say that you know what you're talking about and you know your shit.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're kind of doing it for free and educating people and on beer and just kind of giving people the opportunity to kind of like learn more from you is really good and awesome.
Thanks.
And I hope you become the WSET of like beer, basically.
Oh my god, I would love that. That's like the worldwide dream.
You're doing so well.
Oh, thank you.
Anyone who's trying to get into it will know, because I think even on our socials, so a lot of things I post, I don't know, sometimes I'm like, oh, is this too like on the nose? And obviously the people who follow us know about beer, right? But actually we have some people who followed us who don't know about beer and didn't know about
absolutely.
They probably find you from the restaurant and they're like, this is really good. I want to know more about
exactly. And even some of our family and friends, they're just like, we've completely opened up their eyes to the world of craft beer. They had no, even my dad, he was like, this is what, because my dad is, my mum is the beer drinker, my dad is the wine drinker, and he'll drink a beer, he appreciates it. But my mum is like, and so, but he was like, he goes, I love this is premium, this is and that's really very distinguished. Like he would eat a pizza with a knife. I'm
okay.
And
don't doubt him.
So he absolutely loves it. He loves like craft beer because he was like, yes, he just gets into all the notes and everything else. And for him, it's like his palate recognizes all these amazing, notes and tastes.
Yeah.
Actually, he doesn't. He's like, oh, what is this hop? I get this and I get that. And he would tell me, have you put this in? Have you put grapefruit in this? And I was like, I haven't, Dad. It's the hop. And he's just like, this is so different from like, your standard beer that you would get, Stella or whatever. I'll just say it. so for them, it's a completely new education. My dad is 81 and he's learning about craft beer through us. And it's like, it never stops. So it's just
I wish I
amazing.
could get my
Never
dad to
stop
drink.
learning.
I
You never
wish I
stop
could get my
learning.
dad to drink that.
Never stops.
Never stop learning.
Love
Yeah,
it. Never stop learning.
Like I said earlier, my dad would complain about paying £1.30 for like a pint, but when we put our beer out, my dad pays full price for our beer. Like he will buy our beer to support us.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, my dad's constantly checking in because I did some tasting notes for a brewery recently, and he's like, have they got back to you? Because they were saying they were going to get you to do a blog. And I was like, no, not yet, Dad. And he's like, but because I think this is really good for you. Like you're like, this is your passion. And you'll be so good. Like dads are so good.
Oh, I was going to say, shout out to the dads.
Shout out to the dads. Dads are so good.
So sweet, honestly. So much. But yeah, it's great. You never stop learning. So keep doing what you're doing, girl.
Oh, thank you.
And yeah, and even this podcast is so amazing. I'm so glad finally we get to do it.
We have to do it again, like we have to
we'll
do it
get
again,
you
like
on.
Echo focused to the new.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd be amiss to not. So I'm gonna skip a whole bunch of questions we had because I feel like the conversation we had was so.
It's been
I
so
feel like
good.
genuinely
No,
the
it's been
conversation we had was so much.
good. It's
The
been
beer-
so good.
So okay, heads up to anybody that is listening to this. The beer is amazing. Just buy
Oh,
the beer. Like you
just go
don't
buy it.
need. You
Just go
don't
buy it.
need. All the background, you don't need everything. It is amazing. I will
It's
have
so
finished
beautiful.
an entire
Look,
liter in
yeah,
a
it's
night.
so good.
I've got a little
So
bit left. I'm saving it for a photo.
I'm
Other
on my
than that,
second can.
I'm gonna actually be buying more cans as soon as they're actually released to buy.
I want to lay one
so-
down and see how it develops.
Yeah, 100%. We're gonna do all that so I can ditch half these questions because you don't need to know anything else other than just buy it. It's amazing.
We've had the best conversation.
And Helena's got an amazing job, so we're just gonna go with that. But
we all want to be Helena. That's pretty much
that's
like
it's very
No,
true.
You'll be forever exhausted.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, except
you
I
look
need a nap as
great,
well.
honey.
So
You look great, honey.
yeah, you don't look like you need a nap.
Yes.
But then the only thing that I will ask you guys is, before we get you to plug your stuff and all the fun stuff, is why did you guys pick a stout? Like, what led you to make this particular beer? And I actually do have one last question after that, but I'm going to start with that.
She can't help herself.
I wrote it down. I wrote a note down specifically because it's something you said, but this one first.
What led us to pick a stout, actually? Because we just love stouts, I
Yeah.
think. And then we thought, in terms of the season as well, let's just be honest, this is the seasons for dark beers. Like, this is where they
Yes.
shine. This is,
Definitely.
so we were like, we wanted to just work together as soon as possible, because, and this is the thing, right? We get busy and you're like, oh, I'm going to brew my own stuff, and then I need to, and I was like, let's just do it. And actually, we did want to use, there was another coffee company we wanted to use, but again, like, remember the ingredients, and we really wanted it to shine. And we thought, you know what? Like, let's make this stout. Let's try and find a really good, amazing coffee, and let's release it for like Christmas and December and stuff. And here it is. Like, we just wanted to work with each other, to be honest with you. And it was like, you just need to do it. I think so many times people will just talk, oh, let's do this, let's do that, and it just never really materializes. But we were just like, we're just going to do this. We're going to do it now. And then, and this, it just ended up being that it would get released around this period. So a stout was just perfect. And we both, I think each of us, couples, just love stout. So we were like, why not? There are so many like dippers and hells and, you know, IPAs. So we were like, let's do a stout. That's
Yes.
do that. And
I
put all
love
these
when people
amazing-
say like women don't like, oh, you're a woman, you like to drink a dainty fruity beer. It's like, nah, give me a stout. Like, I have actually had these conversations. This to me, I would take
12%.
this
Oh
over.
my god.
I mean,
I know you, Joanne,
Check
like
in.
all day we'll have
You
these
know me,
chats,
girl.
like,
Stouts are for life.
we'll have them. But yeah, like to Helena's point, like I just love their porter, absolutely love it. It's kind of one of the best things, and I enjoy drinking it so much.
hard
And
time.
the only kind of logical beer that we could actually brew together that was super special and awesome is an imperial stout.
Yeah.
That basically tastes like 2%, and then you walk outside and you fall on your bum.
You fell over. It's
but
so.
yeah, it's just like it
Oh.
just encapsulates everything kind of like we are. We were talking about this earlier on in the week, and it's like it's a special beer for like who we are as brewers and breweries and what we're kind of trying to do, like each in our own lane, trying to kind of do something, but like together. I think we've just created like a really beautiful like beer baby, and I'm like super happy with it, and it's like friggin' delicious.
It's so good.
It really
So
is.
that's gonna be like
It's
the
so
tagline is
indulgent.
it's friggin' delicious.
friggin'
I
delicious.
love that.
Perfect.
Delicious.
Perfect.
You've called it one day. What's the meaning behind that?
Oh, that's a good question.
Journalist.
I'm pointing to Helena.
No, why?
Because like when we had a conversation, like the first time we met, so we had like a Zoom chat, and it was really adorable. Like me and Oliver were really nervous to kind of meet them beforehand. Like, it was like a weird kind of like, from my perspective, like a couple's date, because I'd been chatting to Helena for ages. And then we had a Zoom, and it was like,
Let's bring our husbands in.
Oh, that's amazing.
aren't you
makes
like
me swoon.
gorgeous? Just like a gorgeous, and it like just they're so gorgeous. Like you're just a gorgeous couple and just lovely.
We're like exhausted, like bags under our eyes.
No, you weren't. Like no, you had
Luscious
like you had red
hair.
lipstick on, and you were
Like
like
red lipstick on.
gorgeous.
She has red lipstick,
You were like,
gorgeous blonde
gorgeous.
hair. I'm just
I
like,
know.
and then Ollie's with a beard and just like looks super, you know, hipsterish. I was like, oh my gosh, amazing. And I just look tired.
No, just gorgeous. And Anthony kept saying kind of like one day when we were talking about like aspirations for what we wanted to do, and Helena and Anthony's kind of like tap room and brewery situation, which we kind of, you know, really have to support them on and bloody get them there basically. Yeah, and it was just that, and you know, it was kind of like we come up with a name. It's one day. It's like all our aspirations and everything we kind of like hope for, what we want to do within this industry is kind of, you know, manifested in a sexy delicious 12%.
It's definitely
It
sexy
tastes like
delicious.
it imperial stout.
It's so indulgent. It's perfect for the season. And you know what? I love
I'm
that
gonna
name.
sleep tonight.
Oh yeah.
Are
I
we
haven't,
all?
I haven't even had my dinner yet. The only other question that I 100% just need to know as a coffee aficionado myself, the coffee tasting, like I wrote this down. I literally wrote down coffee tasting on a sticky note in front of me because I work off this desk as well, and I wrote down coffee tasting. How do you guys actually pick? Like, this is the coffee. Do you drink the coffee like just black in itself, or like how do you go about going like that is the roast?
Yeah, basically.
Yes.
I feel like if that's a job, I will apply
Have to bring the coffee.
for free.
And to be honest with you, like, you could actually drink the coffee and enjoy it, but it might not be the right coffee for the beer, which we found out because there was one company we really wanted to work with, like, you know, African owned, and they were bringing coffee from a place that's not, you know, usually known for their coffee. And we were like, oh, this will be really great. But the coffee just wasn't, that particular coffee wasn't strong enough. And again, a small business trying to get those beans for the other type of roast that would have been perfect for this, he just couldn't at that point in time.
Yeah.
So, you know, yeah, it's just, that's literally it. You have to taste the coffee and be like it, but actually for a beer, and it's also difficult to kind of translate that. It's like your coffee is nice, but actually
It doesn't
a
work well with
beer,
the flavor combination.
yeah, so
does
we're
it?
trying to say,
Yeah.
well, we have a coffee, an imperial coffee stout, and you can't taste the coffee. People will just be like, what's wrong with what is this? So it's just you're
Sounds
not
like a dream job though, just being like, let me drink the coffee, just send me the
Anthony was
coffee.
like in heaven, I'm sure. And Emma was saying her brother, is it your brother-in-law who loves coffee?
I'm a coffee person, not a tea person.
Yeah,
so
no,
for me, I'd be
like,
like, yes.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
sent like Neil, who also like does the recipe. I like to involve Neil in everything because he kind of like is just so lovely and brings a joy to stuff. And he's Medley Gastronomy on Instagram, so he did like
he
a
makes
lot
amazing food.
Yeah, a
You
lot
did
of
it
them
over
really
your
interesting food.
campaign.
Yeah,
Oh,
he did
yeah.
it. He did it for like Mind, and he's done it for other things as well. And he loves coffee, and he basically like tasted. I think it was like 9 or 10 kind of like different types of coffee that we sent him, and wrote really detailed tasting notes. So we just kind of like had a really overview of what the kind of like flavor profiles we were looking for, and then we obviously like landed on this coffee, which is just lended itself really nicely to this beer, and it's kind of super smooth, and it's kind of brought out these really kind of berry and cherry and just beautiful notes. And as I said, it's like I think this like is a beer that definitely lends itself to like some really decent, gorgeous barrel aging with like a bourbon barrel. It would just be like
This
so
is a barrel age.
beautiful over time, and like super complex. And me and Oliver like cracked open a 2016 Goose Island that we were saving for when we launched Merakai, and we never got around to drinking it. And we're like, yeah, we'll drink it at some point. We drank it like we drank it on Saturday, and it was like we'd had. Oliver posted about it, to go on a tangent. He'd had like I mentioned before, like we love Tartarus. They are just like wonderful.
They're very lovely people.
So good.
Very lovely people.
I just love like their stouts. They're just like so good.
Their
So
beer's great. Their artwork's great. They are just very.
We all
wonderful.
just drank that and we enjoyed it, and then we kind of like had the Goose Island, and you can just kind of like appreciate and tell like the difference between like a really good solid like imperial stout, and then just like a really complex like just very kind of like evolved like crafted beer. And like that's what I think maybe one day 2.0, which is just something like a like cranking it up a notch. But as a starting point, this is fucking like, sorry, I swear a lot. This is just like, I love
welcome
it.
to my life, Emma. I'm so sorry. Welcome to my life.
In the head, look at the beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
It needs to be a celebratory moment, like the day that Eko then go, we're in our own facility or something like that, because that's going to happen. I'm manifesting it for you.
It's
happening. When that happens,
put it out
when
there.
that happens, when that happens, you go, this is our celebratory brew, as we do this, which is actually amazing, but we're going to barrel age it now. Like that is just,
yes.
I mean, this is amazing in itself. And then barrel aged, like I can't even see how it would stay on shelves. But yeah, last question.
This is doing really well. We've got pre-orders on this, and this is doing really well.
No, don't pre-order it. Nobody pre-order it, because I need some. Don't pre-order it yet. I'm gonna like hang up on this call early so I can go back to my email, and because I saw it come in, I'm gonna go and order the beers.
It's like no bite that the amount of people that when we sent out our B2B mailer to kind of trade were just so into, and they've got a really high awareness of Eko. Just the amount of people who were like, we've got to jump on this because this is just this sounds like a really special beer. I'm like, oh, it is. It's fucking tasty. Buy it. Buy it. Buy it.
I may or may not be putting my
buy it. It's so crowded. The amount of like, I've been crying this past week because I've been seeing like, oh, so-and-so's like launching their imperial stout, and so-and-so's launching their barrel-aged imperial stout, and I'm like,
this is literally amazing. I am gonna go to my local. I'm going to my local shops and being like, I'm going to go to my local shops and be like, you need to order this in. If you don't have it, you need it. Trust me. If you trust anything I say, trust this. It is amazing. But I do genuinely have one more question before I allow you guys to plug away, which is like the artwork. The artwork for the can.
Emma.
Yeah. No, I like, I like you know me, like it's well, we all know, like we've known each other for a while now. We all know I'm self-involved, and it basically, like for the most part, I love talking about myself.
Stop it.
So yes, I will take ownership of this and say, like, I thought that for our beer, it needed to be like something really kind of like high end, something that just looked like really indulgent and super special. And I kind of like thought to create like a really beautiful label which had like the texture of kind of like leather,
It's
Yeah.
so beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but the actual one has a bit
Yeah,
of
the actual
Yeah,
one's
that
got
one's
the-
yeah, that one's kind
It's
of
so
those.
nice.
You've got test runs.
Yeah.
we've got the testers.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not complaining because it meant I ended up with
But
1
I
litre of
can
beer.
I can feel the texture, but I wanted kind of like a texture to it, and I wanted
Yeah.
like our logos, especially with the, Helena talking about the amazing kind of concept behind
Yeah.
the starburst and the satellite kind of imagery of Eko, and it's so delicate and beautiful that lent itself to kind of have like a metallic gold, and like people who know us and know our labels like know that Merakai kind of like have a like Merakai is in gold, and I just thought kind of like that on the texture of like leather would be like just really beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. Just
like stunning,
Yeah,
and everything like
decadent,
black,
like the
everything
beer.
like black and premium, and like this, like this is the can that we're canning into. It's like it's just black. And then it's got
Amazing.
like a silver bottom.
Oh,
like,
man.
It
all
always
cans,
does. It always
all
does.
black cans
Yeah.
have a
Okay,
silver
so
bottom. I
it's
don't know why, but they
They
just
do.
like have a silver bottom. But you
They
can't.
all
You got
do.
you got to do what Three Hills is doing and dip it in wax because there's a point to
Oh
that.
One day.
no! Like no, we
One
thought
day.
that. We
I'll
thought
dip
that,
mine.
Yes.
like, turn it upside down and you dip like the wax.
Yeah.
But, like just it's gonna look like it's just beautiful and just gorgeousness, because we were talking about like bottles and the logistics and the cost and everything else and all that shit. So yeah, kind of like black cans with the label. It's just gonna look
Beautiful. It's going to be
stunning.
posh
Stunning.
AF.
It's basically what we are, like what we represent. I'm speaking for both of us, sorry Helena, but
No,
like we're special, we're premium, like that's who we are as a brewery, and we needed a special kind of packaging. We need special packaging to kind of like represent the beautiful beer that's inside it.
Exactly. Well said.
So good.
Just Helena's like, yeah, whatever.
Girl, you said it.
No,
all.
she
You
was.
said it.
That
You said it all.
that was the face of someone
Yeah.
that I have nothing to add. I have no
nothing
further
to add.
questions.
Yeah.
When I got it, got it, and then she sent it to us,
Just this is good.
I was
Yeah.
just like, what else can I add? And just the fact that also capturing, when you have conversations, you don't even notice or realize what you say. And the fact that somebody else is listening and getting what you're saying, from like the fact that Anthony was saying one day, because
He
truly
didn't feel
like,
that was notable, probably.
one day we'll
Yeah.
be able to say it. And it just, everything about this is just, it's us. It's us, honestly. Both of us is together, what we represent, what we wish for, what we hope for. It's literally right here in a brew.
And your logos
There's
go
no less.
your
There's
logos
no
go
less.
so well together.
Your logos
with
go
the gold.
so well
Yeah.
together.
Everything. I
It's
love
so
it.
beautiful.
Oh,
I love it.
So good.
genuinely.
Love it.
I can't wait till I
Love
get
this.
paid and it's the new year and it's not Christmas shopping time, so I can be like, I mean, I'm definitely like gonna pre-order more of these because I know they're not going to be here. But then it's like the new year, my spend is going to be like Merakai hoodie, Eko glass. Like it's going to be
Sending you all our monies.
Oh yeah, just take my
Yeah,
money.
please.
Give you my
Like,
bank
just
card.
don't, like, there's no other breweries that exist out there right now apart from Eko and Merakai. Those are the two brewery names that you just need to remember.
About.
Well, the power couple.
Well, beers all the time.
Power couple, yes.
They don't need the money. They have the money. They have the money. It's totally fine. It's like, it's fine. They have the money.
I will say, like, from my perspective, like, I do feel like my money does, like, I do like share it out with lots of people. So like, it's there. It's not like you're gonna go, oh, I'm gonna charge X amount for a stout, and I'm like, oh no. Like, if it's something I want, if it's something that tastes good, it's a quality product, like, that's where my money's going to go. Like, I love to spread the love, and I love to spread it to people that I feel like are worthwhile.
Just and on Merakai and Eko. This is what we're saying here.
I do end up being like those frozes, though. I'm like, just take it. I use the froze hot sauce, and I'm literally like, everyone buy this sauce. It's amazing. It's so good. Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, I just can't. I just can't preach about it enough because it is really
Good.
good.
But there's no other brewery, as far as like we're all concerned, there's no other breweries that
No,
exist. apart
just
from
you guys.
Echo and
Just you
Merakai.
guys. That's
To be
all,
fair,
that's all
after
that
this
matters.
conversation, I'm like,
Who?
I've always been like, I need new friends, and I'm like, why are we not drinking together? Like,
Yeah,
more
Siren what?
regularly?
Yeah,
Siren
ladies, we
what,
need to get together.
sorry? Like Siren what? No, they don't exist.
Yes.
Do you realize you're like one of the only people that are allowed to say that to me because I love you that much, Emma?
I know, that's why I said it.
Because you're allowed to get away with that. I do buy from other breweries, as much as people don't like to believe that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just just you guys. But yeah, I just think like I cannot wait till we can drink together because it's gonna be chaos.
It's gonna be mad. I mean, online now with this is a great.
I've literally only saved the last bit for a photo. Do you guys want to plug anything from your respective breweries? Is there any like events, collaborations, beers, anything you want to plug? Take your turns, whichever
Is
order.
that you saying me?
Yes, Emma, go,
me.
because you have some amazing brewery tours and.
What we got? So yeah, we've got brewery tours, which like a lovely. Sorry, I'm going to waffle for a minute. But a lovely individual contacted us and was like, "Hey, I want to gift a brewery tour and I can't." And I went, "Oh yeah, that's not an option." So I created it. So you can buy a brewery tour for yourself, or you can buy like a brewery tour as a gift. It's so nice, and they can book anytime they want. It's awesome. We have obviously One Day, which is like the best fucking imperial stout on the market right now.
Please buy it.
Ever.
Amazing.
Ever.
Just don't buy anyone else's. Buy ours.
You don't need any stouts. This is amazing.
It's amazing. In the new year, we will be doing a Brave Noise collaboration, which I'm super excited about, with some of your favourites, which include Joanne and Tori, with other kind of like bits and pieces. And Helena will also be supporting the initiative and cause as we kind of like go forward. And we will also be doing Quasar. Yes, we will be doing a brew to support their brewery and their Indiegogo initiative. So that will be kind of happening around kind of like June time. Just to like support them, and we'll be looking to do some fundraising as well. Massive kind of like shout out to Helena and Anthony for kind of like putting us on to that and introducing us to the lovely Jessie. We want to like lend our support and do what we can to support their Indiegogo and their ultimate dream, because we all want to go and have like a beautiful safari and experience and enjoy their gorgeous beer. I mean,
yes, we do.
I want to go meet. It's like this is what we're doing.
Can we just plan a trip, please?
No, yeah, we just need to go. I want to meet Jessie and Josephine in Rwanda.
Amazing.
I
want to eat their food. The food sounds amazing.
But it's incredible.
I want to drink their sorghum beer.
It's a crowdfunding kind of like initiative like no other, because
we'll tag
you get people who are like, I just want this, and they've got like a beautiful place where it's like so much more. So yeah, we want to support that.
So much
plus like more awesome brews, and then we've got to bring back like some of our core range, and just like continue to kind of grow and expand and do what we're doing and get involved in some craft beer festivals like next year and all that shit basically. But like if you're going to take one thing away from what I'm saying right now, what I'm saying is One Day is the shit. Buy it. It's the best imperial stout.
It is the shit.
It's so good.
You don't need anything from anybody else. You just buy this beer and that's it. You just buy this beer.
So good.
That's
it.
That's it.
I feel like this parallel is like when Joanne's like, we've got the Instagram and we've got the Facebook and she's got like 7 things. I'm like, I'm on Instagram. Helena, go. It's your turn.
Go.
Go.
Eko, what do we have going on? Obviously One Day, amazing collab. And to be honest, when we started the year and we ended 2020, started 2021, our goal was to do more collabs, but for us, it's really about doing collabs with people who we admire, who we like to work with, who we just think are doing amazing things in the brewing scene. So Merakai, already amazing. So we have one day and amazing beer. I'm not just saying this because it's ours. It's really amazing.
It's just so beautiful.
I'm not just saying this because you're on the podcast. I've literally got it in my cart to order more.
It's so amazing.
Good.
Beautiful beer, so get it, everyone. And then we also have another collab coming up with Wildcard. And you got a little bit of a snippet. So it's a yam naper.
I was so excited for that.
Amazing. Really fun brewing story from that. As you can see, plugging up whatever you can think of. I mean, come on. Yeah.
We're not digging out the mash tun, so the least you can just buy it and drink it.
Starchy produce. What are you going to get from it? Just going to clog up everything once you start mashing. But no, amazing. The Team Our Wildcard, also amazing. It's just really great meeting all these people that you just don't know. You're like, oh, I'm going to meet them. And it's almost like, oh, I look up to them and they're really great.
It makes me so happy because these are like
so amazing, down to earth, great people.
My favorite breweries are you guys and Wildcard.
Exactly. With a lot of good advice. And this is why I say if you can get to speak to them, obviously super busy, I know, but if you can ever get to speak to them, loads of good insight. So definitely one to speak to. Yes, we're also part of the Quasar Brewing project, and we're looking forward to doing our collab. We have a collab beer as part of that, so that will be coming out in the new year as well, hopefully. Well, in next year, not in the next year. We also have a couple of beers that should be coming out, but we'll let you guys know once they are out there. And we talked about testing already. They are going through testing, very exhausting, but once they're out, they'll be amazing, I'm sure. And then our ultimate plan, as always, is to obviously set up our own tap room and brewery, so watch out for that. And we're hoping that it's closer than not. Really,
all the positive vibes.
Exactly. Thank you. So that's it for next year, or at least the beginning, the first half of next year. But like Emma said, you have to take anything away is get one.
Buy one day. And of course, next year you will have your own episode on a Women's Brew the podcast.
You will, because we're manifesting this as well.
And it will not be in spam. I'll be checking my spam every single day.
Okay. Anyway. So, thank you guys so much for joining us.
This has been the best evening.
This is literally on for ages. I want to drink the rest of my beer. I want to order this. I want to order the rest of the cans. Literally. Order it, but also don't order it in case I still need to order it.
Because we need to order some.
But also definitely order it. Thank you guys both so much. Emma, thank you so much for coming back. Helena, thank you so much for joining us. Please come back for an Eko
This was so fun, honestly.
All the time.
We'll have you
back. And I can 100% see how you and Emma connected and how the two breweries
I love her.
having fun because like literally this is the exact same reason why I love Merakai is now why I love Eko. So
thank you.
Like we didn't already.
But
like I said, I'm just constantly humbled when people are like, oh, and I'm like, oh, do you mean it? Do you really?
Yes,
100%.
We 100% really, and in the new year we have to get drinks.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
We love you guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Honestly, thank you so much for having us.
I'm gonna show this bottle again.
My bottle's gone. My bottle's
I've
over
got a
there.
little bit left.
This is the last of mine.
This was like the best girls' night ever.
We already knew Emma was amazing, but Helena is equally amazing.
So good.
If you want to talk to me about gift giving guides, or I've done a lot of board game and beer pairings, which I'm genuinely quite proud of. You can contact me on Instagram at adventures_in_optimism. And from there, you can get a link to my blog post about gift giving guides. Joe, if they want to talk to you about this 1 litre mega jug of imperial stout,
I am a Women's Brew on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I mostly hang out on Instagram. That is the best place to find me. You can also find my beer school, as Helena
linked in my blog
kindly pointed out. Oh, thank you. That is Love Beer Learning. We are on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I mostly hang out on Instagram, but we are also on TikTok and Pinterest. And if you want to tell us what you want to hear on A Woman's Brew the podcast, let us know at lovebeerlearning@gmail.com. We also have a website, which is lovebeerlearning.co.uk. Cheers.